The decision was unanimous.
The motion passes.
The House will vote on whether or not to expel Representative Diego Hernandez. Hernandez is accused of sexually harassing 3 women and creating a hostile workplace at the state capitol. The House Committee on Conduct made the recommendation Friday after hearing a week of testimony from the women involved. The committee thanked them for their courage.
And it's because of all of you that we are sitting here today in the position to take a stand against this type of behavior, and to hold Representative Hernandez accountable, and to send a strong message to the Capitol community that this behavior will not be tolerated.
Each of the women involved briefly dated Hernandez, but said when they tried to break up with him, he harassed them, creating a hostile workplace. On Friday morning, during a news conference on the vaccine rollout, Governor Brown went off topic to call on Hernandez to resign.
If this were any other workplace, Representative Hernandez would have already been shown the door.
A slew of lawmakers followed suit, including Senate President Peter Courtney. In a statement, he said, Representative Hernandez's behavior was unacceptable. I have the highest respect for the women who came forward. They have been beyond brave. Representative Hernandez should resign immediately or be expelled. Besides Hernandez's actions, the Committee on Conduct was struck by his apparent lack of accountability.
Frankly, by the time it gets to the point where potential expulsion is being discussed, most legislators with serious conduct issues just resign. That has obviously not happened in this case.
Hernandez maintains there were problems with the investigation regarding Rule 27, the Capitol's sexual harassment and workplace harassment policy. His attorney released this statement. The committee is making findings of fact and rulings under Rule 27 without considering the evidence that Representative Hernandez has presented. You are the jury appointed to decide the facts under Rule 27. What kind of jury would willingly refuse to hear the evidence? The recommendation to expel Hernandez now goes to the full House for a vote. It needs 2/3 majority to pass, in this case, 40 votes. It's worth noting the House has never before voted to expel a member. Catherine Cook, KGW News.